Method number 2 is going to be letters, okay? So I can tell you that even really, so I'm going to tell you this is kind of a graduation, right? So if you start off with postcards because it's super cheap and it gets you in the business and starts generating some leads and you start making some money, great. After that, you should mix it in. Now, you may stay with postcards and you may I know some very high volume wholesalers that do, hundreds of deals a year that do nothing but postcards. But I also know a lot of them who like to mix in other methods, and typically you're going to graduate a little bit and try to interject some letters into your direct mail marketing campaign. And the reason being, yes, they're more expensive, but they also have a higher response rate, okay? And so you want to get to a place where, and there's also some things you can do with letters that you can't do with postcards, again, because you have some more space to kind of do some more copywriting and stuff, okay? So method number 2 are letters. Now, obviously the reason why mostly that it's a higher response is because what kind of mail are you more likely to read and engage with? Something that looks formal, something that looks like an advertisement, or something that looks like it was personally written to you? Right? You're obviously going to respond to something that was personally written to you. Now, eventually as they get into the letter, it's going to be a giveaway. They're going to know it's not a letter from a friend, right? They're not stupid. But that's the thing that's going to get them to engage. You can see there on your notes that just adding somebody's name to a letter or postcard, it's not exclusive to letters, but just adding somebody's name increases the response rate by 135%. Now, why is that important? It's, again, you can do that on a postcard, but it shows you how powerful making something personal is at getting people to respond. And that's why oftentimes investors who do letters, they do what are known as yellow letters. How many of you are familiar with yellow letters? You heard about yellow, right? So you can go to a website like Yellow Letter HQ or Yellow Letters Complete or some of these other places yellowletterservice.com that I know a lot of you guys are using, and they've got a lot of different variations of yellow letters and things that you can do. And the reason why it's so important, again, is when you're using a letter, not only is it personal, not only can you use a handwritten font and special envelopes and things to try to get them to open it, but it also gives you more real estate, right? Because obviously you got a big letter so you can say a little bit more. And so if you feel like it's going to give you a benefit to maybe be a little bit more personal, maybe show a picture of yourself, tell a little bit about your business. There's all kind of different factors you can do, but that allows you, once you get better, again, mature in your business and get better at copywriting and get better at framing the relationship as far as when people call you, you're going to get better at that, and you're going to want a little bit more, the ability to put some more copy. And so you want to kind of mix in some letters into your marketing, right? One of the things you got to consider, though, when you're doing letters, obviously, is that now we have an obstacle we got to overcome that we didn't have to overcome with postcards, and that is we got to get them to open it. Right? And so one of the things that, again, Yellow Letter HQ and some of these other places will do for you is to give you different options as far as envelopes and stamps, because the way you do that is going to have a big impact on whether they open it and whether they respond to it, okay? And so obviously the very best, you can kind of see it on there, is at the highest response rate in the industry. How many of you guys have ever gotten like a square envelope that looks like an invitation to like a wedding or a graduation or something like that, right? You've got that before? And so if you take one of those square ones and it's got those little fibers in it, right? So it looks really fancy, and then it's got believe it or not, they've studied this, it's a science. You take the European style flap that comes down to a point, not the flat one, but the European style one that comes down to a point. You can buy these on a lot of the fulfillment houses, and then they put the little seal, the little sticker on there, right? That gets the highest open rate and response rate in the industry, right? And then you can peel it all the way back to just like a basic, number 10 envelope that you get at Office Depot where you print their name on there, right? So there's going to be that and everything in between, and certainly it's going to be more expensive, maybe even double what you do in postcards, but oftentimes if you do it well, it's going to have a greater response rate.